So here's how to get some amazing results by using prompt engineering on your own brain. Now, I know that sounds a bit weird, but trust me, it works. Over many years, I've been fascinated by how my brain works and how the power of questions comes into play. And so what I want to share with you today is all about this, the power of questions and how to use those questions in our own minds. I remember Tony Robbins saying in something that I was watching that the quality of our life is based on the quality of the questions we ask ourselves. And far be it from me to add to what Tony says, but I'm going to. And that is that, yes, the quality of our life is based on the quality of the questions we ask ourselves, and that we're prepared to answer honestly and then, of course, take action with those ideas. It seems to me that when we use the power of questions with our minds, an amazing thing happens. After all, we are carrying, aren't we, our own onboard computer, and there it is. And again, as I heard somebody once say, when we're doing this in writing, if we write down the question that we want to ask ourselves, and we put this question mark behind it, then that in effect is the enter key, and I love this expression, that is the enter key on our neck-top computer. So I run my life, because I'm very procedurally based rather than necessarily options based, on asking myself powerful questions and then writing down the answers to those questions, sorting them out into the right order, and then taking action with them. And this is what makes such a difference to me. There's a couple of ideas I use, which I would call prompt engineering these days because of the growth of AI. And that is, firstly, adding in two words that a thinking scientist, a friend of mine, Andy Gilbert, told me to add into questions. The first is this, possible, and the second one is possibly. So when we're asking a question, rather than saying, how can I double my business in the next 12 months? We would say, how can I possibly double my business in the next 12 months? And rather than say, what are the ways in which I can, we would say, what are the possible ways in which I can, whatever it happened to be. And by doing that, and I'll give you another little idea on this as well, we open our minds to different possibilities. This again is, if you like, using a hack in the way of understanding how our brain best responds to these questions that we ask. So another version that I use is using words like might, maybe, and possible. So what might I do to be able to ... What may be possible in this particular situation? And all of those are really powerful ways of doing this. So I use this as well. And the same way we would use with ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, whatever it might be, and then is asking myself for a question and for some ideas, and then adding this, saying, can you give me 10 more ways? Now you'll notice that isn't a statement, it's a question. Rather than give me 10 more ways, which is a command, it's can you give me 10 more ways with that question mark on? And by doing that, I find that my mind says yes and comes up with the answers. So here's a fantastic idea from Earl Nightingale. And what he said was on Lead the Field, that wonderful program, ask yourself a very focused question like, how can I increase my turnover by 60% in the next 90 days, and write down 20 answers that your mind tells you. Of course, using that question mark again. Then leave that paper to one side, and the following morning, do it again for another 20 answers. We can be as crazy, as wild thinking as we need to be. We're not editing at this stage. And then the third day, we would do it again and come up with another 20. And by the time we've done that, and I've done this many times, it's so simple to do, you've got 60 answers. Now, will some of them be similar or the same? Yes, absolutely. That's not the problem. All we're simply doing is looking at 60 answers because that is our mind telling us these are possible ways of doing this. I think this is just so powerful. I'll tell you another way I use it particularly. I use it when I'm writing books, and I write a lot of books, a lot of content. I use this same idea by writing focused questions with a question mark and asking my head to come up with answers, which it always does. Now, if you've enjoyed this particular video, there's plenty more of my videos around here for you to watch, and maybe you'll even come and join me one day on that book writing kickstart workshop. The details will be here somewhere. And in the meantime, I wish you every success in all your adventures in life. From me, Peter Thomson, until now on, goodbye for now.